let me just say to each and every one of you, our lives have changed a lot since the last time we were together. Karen and I, after we moved out of the White House and out of the Naval Observatory where the Vice President lives, we moved back home to Indiana. I bought 5 acres and a pond. Got the John Deere riding mower. 25 horsepower, 0 turn radius. Actually, I get out there on the lawnmower periodically. The best part about our life is that our family, which is what the Pences are really all about, our kids, my son Michael's a captain in the United States Marine Corps, and he and his wife Sarah gave us our first 2 granddaughters over the last 2 years. You can applaud that if you want. And my daughter Charlotte, who's a best-selling author and writes for the Daily Wire, some of the young people are familiar with that great outfit, is married to one of my unworthy son-in-laws. And Henry's actually a lieutenant in the United States Navy and also, like our son, a fighter pilot, and we're incredibly proud of them. Our daughter's a Yale Law graduate, married to a wonderful guy who works in the space industry, was actually the first civilian employee at the United States Space Force. But our daughter Charlotte also gave us our 3rd granddaughter. So our lives have been rich and full the last 2 years since moving back home again to Indiana. The reason I stand before you today, the reason 3 weeks ago I came to Iowa to announce my intention to seek the Republican nomination for president, is because I think this country's in a lot of trouble. When we look at the experiences we've had, not just to be your vice president, where I had the privilege to represent America overseas, to advance our administration's agenda on Capitol Hill and all across the country, but my 4 years as governor of Indiana, where we balanced budgets and cut taxes and expanded the largest education school choice program in the country. But it was also my years in Congress. I served for 12 years in the House of Representatives, where Congressman Feaster serves now with such great distinction. And actually, I was a leader among House conservatives in the Congress during those years. And as my wife Karen and I reflect on our calling at this time in our life, we look at those years where we learned our way around the Congress, we learned our way around state government, we learned our way around the White House, and we just felt compelled to step forward and offer our services to this country. Because I truly do believe Joe Biden has weakened America at home and abroad. The truth of the matter is that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan was a disgrace, and it's emboldened the enemies of freedom. Now we have Russia on the march in Eastern Europe, where I was just a few short days ago. China continues to menace in the Asia Pacific. Now more than ever, we need renewed American strength. And we need to be giving our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard not the budget cuts of the Biden administration, but the support they need to have a military fitted to the times. And here at home, one crisis after another is a man-made crisis, whether it be the crisis at our southern border, or the crisis of inflation at a 40-year high, whether it be the crisis of rising energy costs putting a tremendous burden, or the steady assault on our liberties and values in this country. I tell everyone, every crisis the American people are facing today is man-made, and that man's name is Joe Biden. And so we have to decide right here and right now that Joe Biden will never be reelected as president of the United States. I will honestly tell you as I close, and then Congressman, I'd love to have a chance to take some questions and hear what's on your all's mind. Frankly, as rich as our lives have been since we were last together, it would have been fairly easy for me to sit this one out. In 20 years in public service in your Congress and as governor and as your vice president, it was an incredible experience. But I have to tell you, it's just not the way I was raised. My father, who would have been 94 today had he not left us 30 years ago, combat veteran in the Korean War, best man I'll ever know. My dad often repeated one phrase in particular, and that was, to whom much is given, much will be required. And my wife Karen and I feel like we've been given much opportunities to serve and to help lead this country. And with all the struggles the American people are facing, with all the challenges America's facing at home and abroad, we felt called to step forward that offer our services. And so I'm running for President of the United States because I think we can turn this country around. But it's going to take new leadership in the Republican Party and new leadership in the White House. And I promise the people of Iowa, I'm going to work my heart out to earn your support in the days ahead. So thank you very much, and God bless you. It's wonderful to be with you all.